All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday, March 10th Board of Education regular business meeting. May I please have a motion to call the business meeting to order? So moved. Michele, second. Maria, all in favor? Aye. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. With that, a motion to approve tonight's agenda, please. So moved. Carole, second. Linda, all in favor? Aye. I'm not sure. I believe our liaisons from Webster, or from Schrader and Thomas, are not here tonight. And I also believe we got an email that our WTA liaison is not going to be here tonight. So that brings us to Superintendent's report and campus news.
Yeah, so I will start us out and invite some friends up here. Mr. Bodensteiner, Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Powers, if Dr. Powers, if you guys could come on up here, and we'll find our spots. I'll start us out. Mr. Bodensteiner, we're going to end up starting out with you, so you'll go first in just a second here. But let me start by saying I'd like to begin tonight by sharing how proud I am of our music, our arts, and our athletics programs here in Webster. And tonight you're going to hear a little bit more about our fine arts as well during our instructional report, so I'm excited about that. But our teachers and staff members provided incredible opportunities for our students, and time again, our students rise to the occasion. Recently, WCSD alumna, and News 10 reporter Emily Putnam featured the Webster Thomas Music Program, and we are thrilled to share just a small clip with you tonight. So, Paul, if you could play the clip.
The Webster Thomas High School music program has had an indelible impact on countless kids' lives, including mine. So I came back here to my alma mater to learn about their spring musical and to talk with a fellow alum who is back where it all began, helping the next generation of kids make their dreams come true.
I'm a community builder, and my job is to do that, and music is the vehicle I do to build community. Yeah.
It's a full circle moment for Dr. Kyle Sackett, returning to Webster Thomas High School to teach in the program that gave him his start.
Did you ever expect to be back here teaching?
No.
In addition to teaching 135 students across 5 choirs, Sackett is also vocal director and producer of the spring musical, Footloose.
We want to pick shows that our students can connect with the material.
Hi, I'm Dom McMangano. You can call me Dom.
Dom plays Ren in Footloose.
Ren he's very energetic. There's a lot of dancing I get to do, which is a lot of fun. I've always loved dancing in shows.
It's not a show about a town that banned dancing. It's a town that has experienced real and significant pain and trauma.
Dr. Sackett, he's one of the best directors I've ever worked with. He won't stop until you're at a place that you're comfortable with, especially vocally.
Stepping back into that environment, the warm-ups, the sheet music, the egg shaker. I was immediately reminded of the camaraderie and artistry fostered within the Thomas Music Department.
Whoever is the most passionate and whoever I can try to impact the way that we were impacted when we were here, that's all I want to do.
How do you think going through this program and being a student at this school prepared you for this role that you're in right now?
I would do this job the way I'm doing it whether I went here or not. Webster just sort of values music at a level that I think we should all be very grateful for.
The music, a vehicle for building confidence, for bringing people together.
I've gotten to meet a lot of great people. I've gotten to learn a lot of great things about music and a lot about myself. And I wouldn't take any of it back for anything.
And in Sackett's case, the music bringing him back to where his story began.
It's just a really rewarding experience to get to see these kids shine at their best.
There are 84 students involved in this production. They have been rehearsing since December. You can see all of their hard work on stage this weekend, March 5th through 7th. Reporting in Webster, Emily Putnam, News 10 NBC.
Oh, what a great segment that was, and certainly an amazing show. Many of us around the table here actually had a chance to see the show. But it was really neat to see the reunion between Kyle and Emily, though. And I'm so happy that you were able to have that mini reunion and put that in place. What you didn't see is how much Emily participated in not just the egg shaker. That was the one thing that they had on camera there, but according to a couple people that were there as well, she was singing in the songs, every song that they were doing in the class. It was really neat, so I'm so happy for that. So I'm so excited for our Webster music program, Dr. Sackett's leadership, and all of our music teachers throughout our district. Next, I want to share a huge thank you to our PTSA, and specifically to Stacy Peters from Schrader and Kim Kozlowski from Thomas, and their leadership for organizing another successful Webster staff basketball game. What a great event this was. Provides a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, and it certainly goes to a good cause. All the proceeds for this event were to help the Unified Sports Programs, which is outstanding, and they helped raise over $1,700. So this year, Thomas won this year, but I can tell you Schrader won last year, and I know we got at least one person in our audience that played in that event and did a great job, or was at the event helping out. So, all right, next, moving on, we're also excited to talk about an important meeting that we're going to host. Joe Montemero is going to be hosting Navigating AI Together, and this session is a session for families on artificial intelligence. It will be on Wednesday, March 18th at Schrader Auditorium, and it will cover what is AI, Webster Schools' AI journey, and resources for families. This being such a hot topic, I would welcome as many families as have an opportunity that night to come and join us. I think it'll be a great event. And with that being said, I am now going to turn things over to hear a little bit about our things that are going on in our schools, both elementary, secondary, and also in our buildings and grounds. So, Mr. Bodensteiner, you're up.
All right, well, thank you very much. It's a pretty high bar to set up to after hearing the amazing music presentation over at Webster Thomas. Good evening, community members, senior leadership, and board. The middle of the school year is kind of like the Super Bowl, even though we just kind of passed the Super Bowl figuratively and physically. Very exciting time. I'm going to break up my presentation into two parts. First part is just kind of highlighting some of the activities that happen really at all 7 elementary schools. The first one truly is, if you walk into any primary classroom in Webster, it is the Super Bowl, known as the 100th day of school. So you can see some of those pictures from this year. The teachers, the students, parents really get into it, and it is like a very, very big deal and a lot of excitement. Cherishing the growth that the kids have made towards their goals from the beginning of the year when they walked in September to where they are. And now we start our trend going down. I'll be honest with you, I work a lot with our 5th graders on our school morning show. This is the part in time where they get a little depressed because they're like, oh my goodness, middle school is coming really, really fast. So more to come from Mr. Powers.
You mean excited?
Excited,
yeah,
yes,
right.
that was the word I wanted to go to. It's a jumble of emotions. Another big one was the Lunar New Year. At Plank North, we had the luxury of having one of our 2nd grade teachers, Taylor Nguyen's father, come in, who shared his experience when he was in Vietnam, where he was born and raised, brought in some things for the kids. That, too, was a very, very exciting time that our kids had the opportunity to be exposed to. Another one that all 7 elementary buildings are currently doing right now is March Book Madness. If you're a basketball junkie, you've probably heard of that. At Webster, at the elementary, we kind of conform that into 8 books. And all 7 schools read all 8 books, and then every week they vote. And the votes get submitted to our school librarian, and there's the bracket. Those are our 8 books up there, all right? And then each update, Mrs. Corey comes on and will update us, and they'll move on, and there will be a winner. And the kids really get into it. Sometimes we have to remind the teachers, you don't get to vote twice because they have personal favorites as well. But it's an exciting time that ties in, obviously, with hoops that are upcoming and with the college level. The second part of my presentation really is focusing on, it's almost like Mr. Neenan and I actually synced what we were going to be talking about, is really honoring our PTSA chairs and co-chairs at the elementary buildings. Each individual building has their culture and certain traditions that they like to cherish, and many of them do not take place without the support, both financially and physically, by having PTSA volunteers come into our respective buildings and actually helping make those a success. So I wanted to honor all 7 buildings, chairs and co-chairs that you see up there. Some of the activities that you see up there are obviously building-specific in some cases, and others that happen multiple times. But again, many of them, what we currently, when we are working with our fifth graders, we often ask them, whether it be for the yearbook or for the morning show, what's one of your favorite memories? Many of those from the fifth graders throughout the district's favorite memories from their 6 or 7 years that they began in pre-K is one of those events are up there, and those couldn't have taken place without our amazing PTSAs at our buildings. So enough with me talking. Nobody likes hearing me talk, including my wife. So I want to thank Paul Conley in advance and Sheila O'Hanlon, who is our Wonder Care site supervisor, had this wonderful idea. Let's hear the voice of our children. So in a second, I'm going to hit play so that way you could hear some of our Plank North students, again, pre-K through fifth grade, talking about some of their thoughts and perspectives on some of the events that you hear up there.
I play bingo, and if you win, you get the shout out bingo and get a new book. Yeah, I got to go to the book fair, and I got my AFML book, and my sister also got one. How to get a golden coin is you show as much respect and care as you can, and if you get one, Mr. B comes in your room and gives you a coin. Then you go down to the library for a book, and you get it from the vending machine. March Book Madness is about, so the teachers read you the book, and then the kids vote on it, and then they write it down on a sticky note, and then the library teacher reads it to you, and then you vote, and then the highest vote of the score, the book is sent out, and that's the March Book Madness. This year we're doing Finding Nemo, and my part is bloat. We're having a lot of fun at practice, and we're working very hard. Yes, I did go to the Glow Party. It was a very fun experience, and I'm definitely going again this year. They had fun games in the gym, and in the cafeteria they had a DJ, and you could dance.
It was great. We had a whole bunch of fun. We played against the Harlem Wizards, who are very tall, and they are very good at basketball. We tried our best. We did not win, but we're going to get them next time. It was a whole lot of fun. Thanks, PTSA.
Thank you so much to the PTSA for funding the Glow Party. It was so fun, and I'm definitely going this year. Thank you, PTSA, for funding the Finding Nemo play. Thank you, PTSA, for buying all the books. Thank you for the vending machine, PTSA. Thank you, PTSA, for buying the books. Thank you, PTSA.
Oh, that was great.
So, thank you again to Mr. Conley for coming over and using his professional magic with the video, and
Yeah.
also to Miss O'Hanlon, who you saw in there, help round up the kids and make a crazy idea become realistic.
That's wonderful. We love that partnership that we have, PTSA. Thank you very much, Mr. Bodensteiner, for highlighting that. It was great. All right, Dr. Powers, we'll move it over to the secondary.
Well, thank you very much. And as always, it's a pleasure to follow Mr. Bodenstader. I'm going to do my best to stick to the 2 minutes allotted to me. However, I'm going to pivot a little bit and, if I may, get a little personal. It was amazing to see that clip of Emily and Kyle. My first year teaching in Webster, they were the leads in the Willink Middle School play. And to see that come full circle with Dr. Sackett and our local newscaster, Emily, it's amazing. Not to mention her father, who was a mentor for me as a teacher.
Yeah.
And again, I want to thank you for always setting me up for success.
You got this.
And I do see that we have some veterans in our crowd, and I want to also thank Mr. Bodenstader for his service in the United States Marine Corps.
Yep.
So again, some slides of Owl High School and our other secondary schools, but I will take my 2 minutes to highlight a few that I know very well. I want to take a minute to talk about Owl Middle School, which I think Mr. Cunningham will probably speak to the construction in just a few minutes. The staff of Owl Middle are so amazing. The students are so amazing. And they have been operating in a less than ideal, let's say, facility, but have been welcomed by the Willink staff, the Willink students, and of course, the Owl staff and students. And I am so excited for the progress we're seeing in the construction and the facility that our students in Owl are going to have, hopefully by opening day next year. It's just an amazing program, amazing people, and you can see some of the joy and the fun that they're having here, and I can't wait to share more next year.
And it will be by opening day, right, Mr. Cunningham? Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. And as mentioned, big week, not only Black History Month, but the charity basketball game between Thomas and Schrader, which is always a very friendly, competitive
Fun.
night. Spry continues to do wonderful things. You can see the ski club and other winter activities winding down. Blood drive at Thomas, Footloose, and sectional champions for the girls cheerleading team. And as I get back to the one I wanted to highlight, selfishly, Willink Middle School continues to impress me. And again, on a personal note, I have the privilege of being not only a principal, but a parent of a sixth grader at Willink Middle School. And the lab that's pictured here of trying to figure out how to insulate in a sixth grade science class just blew my mind at home. And then I got to see the children doing this with so many different ideas. Again, just blew my mind, and as I know there's a lot of educators in the room, and I agree that nothing changes your perspective and adds to your ability to lead as being a parent as well as an educator. So, and again, an amazing program at Goal with so much going on that we love to see.
That's great. Thank you very much, Dr. Powers. We'll turn it over to Mr. Cunningham at Facilities.
All right, well, good evening. Tonight I wanted to touch a little bit about a software we use on our day-to-day basis at Buildings and Grounds that not only impacts Buildings and Grounds, but it impacts the entire system. And the entire
I think we got to just move the mic over towards you there. There we go. The green light on?
Yes.
Great.
So, once again, the name of the software is Follett. It used to be Master Library 2 years ago. It's not. Try this one. This one works. How's that?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So tonight I wanted to touch on the Follett software program that we use at Buildings and Grounds. Talk about how it makes us efficient. Talks about how it positively impacts the entire district and the work we do. So the first segment of this software, once again, it used to be called Master Library. You might have heard that term here and there. There is a scheduling component. This helps us with events, not only on weekends, but it helps night activities also. Our number one resource, the most important resource, is staffing. So through this program, we're able to select the amount and the right amount of staffing that we need, and then also the services that needed to be provided for that event. If there's traffic control that is needed, if there's plowing, additional items such as mats, bleachers, field setups and mowing, but also more importantly, HVAC is notified, and through that, the HVAC is turned on for cooling and heating. Because our components, our HVAC does not run 24/7, everything is scheduled. So this component really makes us efficient, and we really realize a huge cost savings with it. The next component of the software is through utility tracking. Why is this important? As we invest within our buildings for energy efficiency, such as LED lighting, new boilers, things of that nature, we can check our payback of our investment on how that's impacting us in a positive way. On the other hand, over breaks, over summer programs, we can also track how much it costs to have that program at that school to heat and cool it. So once again, the positive aspect of it, it's real life data, plus it charts itself out, and it's so much easier to visually look to see the impact of these programs, both positive and negative, of what we do to get a better visual of that. So once again, really helps us be efficient not only in electric but also gas usage. Probably the biggest component is the day-to-day work order system. Teachers, administrators, they're able to input work orders request. They are approved. They are assigned to the certain levels, either at the building level or at the B&G level for electrical, HVAC, grounds. We're able to communicate through notes, so the people who apply and request this work order, they know where it stands. Take a Lowe's order. If someone puts in something that needs purchased, we can give updates of where we're at if it's on back order. So therefore, streamlines a lot of the things that we do for our delivery system, simply because then they'll know they're not calling and checking. Everyone's up to date with where we're at with that. And then when it's closed out, the individual actually knows that they're sent via email if they request that. In terms of efficiency and cost savings with this, we're also able to track certain components to realize when they're at the end of their life, such as our fleet services. If we have a vehicle that's coming up, it might be in great shape. We can look at that to know what we paid or what the cost of running that was for that year. On the other hand, if it's putting a lot of money in, we'll select that one to be replaced. So overall, like I said, for the last 2 years, this program has really made us efficient. We've realized a lot of cost savings with it. In buildings and grounds, I want to say a shout out. They really embrace the technology that's behind us. Brian Zimmer and Joe Montemero has really helped us develop our skills when it comes to technology, using Chromebooks, using laptops to be able to give this input, give this data up to date on a daily basis. So overall, like I said, very happy with how this is working out for us, and really proud of how everyone's embracing it. Any questions?
That's great. Thank you so much, Blaine. And thanks for all your work you guys do. I know how much behind the scenes, we don't always see it, but we also know how much you guys are there. So thank you very, very much to you and your team. All right, I'm just going to share a couple other student accomplishments. You heard about a couple of these, but I think I want to bring a few more to our attention in our athletic programs. But girls Schrader basketball won sectionals last Friday night. What a great game that was. Congratulations to them. We had several Webster Lakers swimming and diving students compete, winning sectionals and then going on to compete at states. Let's see, Josh, Dylan, Jack, Caleb, and Owen all went on to the state tournament after winning sectionals. Indoor track from Schrader, we had Rebecca, Brianna, Kaylin, Jenna, AJ, Sophia, Jeremiah, Sean, Chase, Aaron, Nathan, Josh, and Hunter. And from Thomas, Ashton, Juan, and Max. They competed in the indoor track and field state competition, and a couple of them, including our very own rep here from our Board of Education, Rebecca, is competing this weekend, or right now, in Boston for nationals. Congratulations to them. Thomas cheerleading won sectionals and competed and got third in states last Saturday. Great job to that team. Very, very proud of them. Schrader hockey, we just wanted to mention they lost in the sectional finals, but they had an undefeated season going into that game, and they ended up 22-1, which is the best record we've had in Schrader hockey. So congratulations to them. We had Thomas wrestlers, Connor and Eric, competing at the New York State Championship. And this year, Schrader did a back-to-back, winning the dual wrestling sectional championship and the team wrestling championship, sending all 16 of their students that competed at sectionals on to states. First time they've ever done that. Amazing. Webster girls wrestling won the Monroe County girls wrestling overall champion. And then a couple of other things just to mention. Again, the Spry musical is our last of our 4 musicals coming up next weekend, Friday and Saturday. It's Newsies. If you haven't got your tickets, please grab those tickets. It should be great. Thomas Masterminds. They finished undefeated and had 10 wins and officially clinched first place in their division over RH, which is huge. First time they've done that. And then obviously we talked a little bit already about Footloose. So those are just a few other things that I will round out my campus news. That's all we have. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your reports, and thank you also for your leadership.
Thank you.
All right. Good? We're moving on to the next. Yep. Okay, so moving on to the next, I am going to turn things over to Mrs. Land to introduce our instructional report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Neenan. We are excited to welcome our Fine Arts report under the direction of Michael Roller tonight. We often talk in Webster about well-rounded, whole child. Those are terms you hear from us, but our staff also is pretty well-rounded. Michael let me know today that spring is en route because his chickens are laying eggs. So... Who knew? Who knew? So I'm excited to see what you have in store for us today because I think you're going to blend a whole bunch of what we've heard in other reports with Fine Arts tonight. So welcome.
All right, thank you. All right, so happy Youth Art Month and Music in Our Schools Month. I always appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you about the wonderful things going on in our schools right around this time every year. The arts help students build the recognition, perception, sensitivity, imagination, and integration skills needed to make sense of the world around them. So when I found this quote, I felt like I needed to lead with it. I really believe in the long-term value of art and music. It's not just what we offer our students when they're here in our classrooms, in the walls of our 13 years of their experience. It's what they take with them beyond and what makes them better people and connected to those around them. And hopefully we show a little bit of that this evening. So we're going to celebrate some student achievements, discuss instructional focus areas, and best of all, you will hear from some students tonight. Our communications team, especially Jen Callis, I'd like to give a shout out to for many of the things that are in the next couple of slides. I'm not going to read it all because they do amazing press releases to highlight what our students are doing, and I know that information is out there in the community, so hopefully you have a chance to take a look at that on social media and the different press releases that are out. So these stats that are here are our music honors for students who have participated in solo festivals and honors festivals, and being Music in Our Schools Month, we have Monroe County School Music Association festivals every weekend this month, and students going to them, and it's a really wonderful experience for them to combine with students that they haven't even met before in many cases, but by the end of the weekend, there's friendships and there's connections, and they make some wonderful music. We also have, of course, students who, like some of the state's events that you were hearing about in sports, dedicate themselves to what they do and have made it to the state level for music. This past December, we had 10 students who were recognized that participated in various capacities and had a wonderful time. We also have amazing accolades for our art department that each year our teachers are allowed to nominate who they feel meets the criteria of the Scholastic Art Awards, and I'm amazed how many pieces we actually have to control ourselves a little bit with how many we feel like meet the qualifications that go into the Scholastic Awards. And you see the names on the board here. We have 10 winners of the Gold Key who are actually going to be adjudicated toward the national level. And hopefully you saw the new portrait gallery up in the hallway next to Mr. Neenan's office. A nice placement there, just as a reminder. But the students that we've had over the years, we left a little spot reserved there. So I'm optimistic, especially for some of those students, that we had 3 American Vision nominees, and that is a regional award that across the country, there's 5 nominees per region. And 3 of them came from Webster this year for our greater region of the nation that we're part of. So a pretty good chance that we may be able to hang something else there, and then you never know. So a lot of wonderful artwork that is posted in our hallways that I'm sure you'll also see at Community Arts Day. So these are the 3 images that are the American Vision nominees here on the board. They meet the criteria of originality, no AI, skill, of course, the technical growth that our students experience in our classrooms over the years, and what I find to be the most interesting part of their criteria, emergence of a personal voice. So if we are looking for a place for students to really say, this is what I believe, and this is something that I'm passionate about, and then you see their artwork, and it comes out of that work, and it's pretty amazing. The art categories that you see in the lower left-hand corner were all of the categories that we had artists earn awards this year in the national or in the scholastic categories. That's a wide variety of different media that our students can be part of and submit artwork for, and I think that's something to be proud of. All right, so I encourage you to go back and take a closer look at some of those stats. But so these accolades are certainly not accidental, and they're not simply the result of students' natural talent. I'm very proud of the teacher preparation and planning that creates the instructional opportunities that allow our students to grow and express themselves and to find a pathway that they can thrive in. So these are some of the activities that happen over our summers. And I know my pre-K colleague, Heather Balsamo, has shared this pink and white quote here on the slide about the power of music and how it sets our students up for success in a variety of ways. The research speaks to the fact that activities that are central in our core of music instruction, like clapping to music, tapping along with songs, and interactive rhythmic games, also set the brain up for those pathways needed to be readers. So that is that superpower. If you've gone into any K through 2 general music classroom or a pre-K class, you're going to see a book, you're going to hear chanting, you're going to see rhythm games, you're going to see them moving and playing, and likely, if there's an open spot, somebody will invite you to sit there. So I've never been in a room where they haven't, do you want to make art with me? Do you want to sing this song with me? So like, it's awesome. That'll make your day. Alrighty. Our department definitely works to directly support academic board goal number 1 with numerous examples across our program. Tonight I'm going to highlight just a few of the deliberate crossover efforts that we are making while we also strive to meet our own academic content standards at the same time. So this one is from our elementary art department, where they utilize the concepts and themes within the CKLA domains to identify natural connections that already exist in their classrooms. And in some of that conversation, it would be, oh, well, I talked to my 4th grade team about that. Well, I didn't know that the 4th graders did that, but now they did, because they've had this conversation, and we just made ourselves a chart, basically, of where is it represented that we can come back to, and we can also have the conversation about, well, what project did you use that helped students with that? And I definitely want to thank the librarians around the district, who I'm happy to be working with this year, who gave us some templates and resources to get ourselves going in some of that comparison work. And as I mentioned earlier, the books that you see in classrooms, there's always an inspirational point of some sort that comes from it. It could be a pattern. It could be different color combinations. It could be the background or diversity that we're looking to have it come from, something historical figure related. And all of these books are actually in the CKLA curriculum as well. And we're just looking through to try to find ones that they aren't currently being used in our classes, but that we could look at to try to dig into to find, again, a natural connection where there's an opportunity that we can have something occur between the art and music and reading classrooms that just make a natural and stronger connection for our students. Anytime they have an opportunity to build on that background knowledge and then add it into that next learning opportunity, it just allows it to be even stronger for them. At the secondary level, our art and music teachers at Thomas, as this example, came up with vocabulary. So both within their content and ability to cross over to another content area, and just gave their students an opportunity to adapt from one setting to another and to try to see where there's relatedness and commonality between all of our subject areas. I know sometimes in education we feel like we're siloed and I do what I do and you do what you do, but if we can again spend some time and dig into where those natural connections are, that's really where some of the most impactful opportunities are for our students. Here's one around data that we have happening in our middle school music program, where they did a little bit of diagnostic and formative assessments in rhythmic reading. We've identified that rhythm is an area that we want to have all of our students grow in over the years, that it's maybe one of the weaker components that we have going on. So they are doing a little data collection to see what they have as both visual identification and oral identification about what they hear and what they see, and then how that translates to their ability to reproduce that when they're playing on their saxophone or singing a song. Right. So I'd like to show one example of careful planning by our orchestra teachers who regularly meet over the summer for curricular conversations, and they've established a vertical alignment that they really feel is the developmentally appropriate pathway for our players. So this takes you through what it looks like to read something when you're a 4th grader through a 12th grader. So if you want to look at the big board, it's probably the easiest one to take a look at. I'm going to say a little bit over the top of it. When our musicians begin an instrument, an orchestra, or band, there is a lot to consider on the technical side of making a proper tone on the instrument, all the while linking to the reading skills necessary to make those tones connected to a musical phrase, song, and eventually an ensemble of their peers. Knowing how to read the organization of rhythms, scales, and groupings of musical symbols is steadily added to over the years, with personal technique that allows shifting to more ranges, adding vibrato, different bowings and articulations, with the intention of exploring advancing repertoire like what you are seeing come across the screen. And to showcase where that comes from for our students, we've invited a few to play the excerpt here at the end. It's longer than that. But we have a wonderful trio of students from Schrader High School who I thank Mr. Isham for helping them with this as well. And we're going to turn it over to our trio.
job.
All right, thank you so much. So, since they're here, I invited them to come and share a little something else with you. We had an opportunity this past fall to have a piece of music commissioned and premiered by our students at Schrader. You may have also seen that by another post by Jen Callis. The Eastman School of Music has a composition initiative where the composer comes and does some work at the college, but then goes out into the community and gets to premiere a world premiere with our students. So our wind ensemble and Philharmonic Orchestra did a piece of music this past fall. And Evan and Abigail and JJ, come on over. They're each just going to share a little bit about that process, beginning, middle, and
While
end.
JJ's coming up, I know we've seen her at several things over the last year or two performing. So it's been amazing to see you grow all these years as well.
And Evan, we still have you for another year after this.
Yeah. And Mr. Neenan, if you can give them a pass to the senior meeting over at Schrader after this, I know that 2 of the 3 here would appreciate that.
All right, let me see what I can do.
For the trip. Yep.
All right. So Evan is first. All right, and they did get a plant here of a question ahead of time to really think about it. So Evan, how does your preparation of a piece change when you know you'll be collaborating with the actual composer on a world premiere?
It was very interesting working with him because there were a lot of questions throughout the development of the piece, and they were very open-ended. It was very much like, oh, well, someone will ask like about a dynamic change, and he'll say, oh, well, let's talk about that when the composer gets here. So it was very insightful to be able to actually ask the person who wrote the piece, like, what did you imagine when you wrote this line, or what did you think when this happened? And it was very interesting as well to play a piece by like a living, breathing composer, because a lot of the time throughout our time in the orchestra, we play pieces from like the 1800s and 1900s and all those places that is like, well, this is cool, but we don't know his true intention by this. Right. So it was very interesting to play the piece by by Mr. Gordon and actually understand his thought process and see a professional in his field.
Thank you. All right, Abigail, you're next. All right, so during the rehearsal with Philharmonic and Wind Ensemble, did the composer's presence evolve the music in an unexpected or new way?
Yeah, definitely. I guess my answer is sort of similar to Evan's. When we first started rehearsing the piece with Mr. Isham, we were focusing on learning notes and rhythms and how our parts fit together. And we had like an idea of how it should sound musically, but it was more about playing it correctly rather than fully understanding it. And when Mr. Gordon came in, the piece started to feel completely different. He like explained how and why he wrote certain sections, what inspired the music, how he imagined specific moments being played. And there were moments where he would like ask us to shape a phrase differently, adjust dynamics, or think about the emotion behind a section. When we played it again, it sounded more expressive and intentional. And it felt like the music really transformed from just something we were performing to something we understood and connected with. It was a really unique experience because, like Evan said, we don't usually get to work with the person who wrote the music. So getting to hear the meaning behind it and how Mr. Gordon envisioned it was really, it made the performance feel a lot more meaningful.
So cool. So, thank you. All right, and JJ. So looking back at the project, which was October, right? When you came in, and I think you did it on your December concert, if I remember correctly. How has that experience changed the way you approach pieces of music that you're working on in an orchestra now, or just anywhere in your music?
Yeah, when we're presented with a piece, often you can look up the story behind it, kind of what the composer's intentions were, like what they were going through during the time that they wrote the piece, but being next to someone, like a person, like in person, you connect with them, and it kind of taught me to, rather than thinking about, oh, how did the composer feel when he wrote this, I started thinking more, how can I connect to how the composer was feeling? Mm-hmm. How does this story apply to me, and where can I take it? And a part that really stood out to me is at the end of the piece there was a chord that kind of was unexpected, and a lot of us in rehearsal were wondering, oh, well, what was the composer's meaning of this chord? And when we asked him, he was just like, oh, it sounds good. And like, it gives us the opportunity to make the chord like something that's our own, and what that can stand for ourselves.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate the three of you playing today and performing for us, but also taking us inside the process a little bit of that experience. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and thank you, Mr. Isham, too. Wow, what a cool experience. Awesome.
All right, so a little time for some art now.
All right.
All right, so if you're like my family, you have numerous under-bed storage boxes that are just overflowing with your kids' stuff, and we brought it out at my daughter's graduation, and so now we'll have to do it for my son and just see like all of their projects that are hiding in different places in your house. I kind of feel like that journey of looking through those bins is a bit of what you're going to see here. So we threaded together a kindergarten through senior year visual for you of a couple of different areas, both around clay and clay sculpture, portraiture, and landscapes. So again, if you want to look at the big screen, it's the better viewing. You may notice on the slides that students are working in increasingly more combinations of the visual components and organization of them that create 3D and 2D work. More and more criteria and considerations over the 13 years of art classes are layered on top of each other as a student is given a design challenge or they seek to bring a work of art to life in their own mind. Community Arts Day, which, by the way, is on April 11th, a little plug there, is another wonderful place to see sequential experiences. In here, you can see where students share pieces that capture memories of the people, places, and events that have shaped their present, or they bring us into their artistic reality that changes, contrasts, or guides our imagination to another place.
Oh.
The purposeful choice in color, value, or texture meet up with the balance, contrast, or action occurring in a scene.
Wow.
Especially in these landscapes here. They may have been sketched, drawn, painted, hand-built, or graphically designed to result in a representation of a research subject, or it's a uniquely conceived concept that's meant for either yourself or to share its meaning and impact with others. At this time, I'm pleased to welcome 3 Thomas High School artists who collaborated with some local photographers in their studio and art class, and they've prepared a few thoughts on some landscapes as well. So this is a bit from their class just a little while ago. I think Miss Callis sent this one out too. There's a theme tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and these are their images that came from the experience, and they're going to talk a little bit more about it here. Lucas, I think you're first. All right, how did it feel to meet professional artists, and did you gain a new perspective or different inspiration in your own work?
Yeah, definitely being able to actually meet the person behind the reference picture kind of gives you a greater personal connection to what you're working on, because if you know where it came from, it's more meaningful, because usually when you're referencing something like a picture you found online, you don't really know you don't know who took the photo, or you don't know who the subject in the picture is if you're drawing a person. But in these, not only were they did we meet the photographers, but they're also local places. They're in and around Rochester, so it's just more of a kind of personal artistic experience in that regard.
Yeah, and you were allowed to pick one from a whole catalog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Emma, you're next. So, was it exciting to work from real places as photos rather than just Googling an image, and do you have some connections to that story?
Yeah, I think it was very meaningful to me to paint something where it was like local, because I felt like more connected, because like other than like a picture you took off like online, you didn't really like know where it was from, but like you like have stories like some of the places we've been before, and you like think back and you're like, oh yeah, like I remember that place, and a lot of me and my friends were like telling stories from like some of these places that we painted. And I think we also meeting the photographers gave us like kind of like an insight to what they were like thinking when they were taking them, so it kind of helped me like envision on what I wanted to paint for it. And yeah, it was very exciting to meet them and to like paint places that were local.
That's awesome. All right, Allie, how does it feel to know that your work will be hanging in a gallery? And I know there's a story related to that.
It's like really cool because about like a year ago, my sister's photography was in a gallery, and I got an opportunity to go see that. And it was really cool to like be able to like see other students' work like hung up, like it was like they're professional artists. And like I remember thinking that like other people are gonna be able to look at this and like think like that it's like good and stuff. And so it's so cool that I get an opportunity to now have like that experience for myself, and that now I know like other people are gonna be thinking that about me. And like it's really cool that other people can like look at my work, not just like my teachers and like other peers and stuff, that like other people around the world or like around Rochester are going to be able to come in and like see what I do and like what all my classmates do. And so yeah, it's really awesome.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Stahl, I should have written down the name of the gallery that they own, that we were going to be.
It's a gallery that's connected to Farmhouse Table Restaurant in Midtown. The opening is May 1st, Friday night, May 1st, as part of the First Friday series in Rochester.
Thank you.
That's great.
All right, and they're going to have a side-by-side of the photographer's piece with theirs next to it, so it can be a representation of that work, and their whole class came up with some amazing work. And let's see if I remember these correctly. So Lucas is the top with the cafe, and Emma is the lower right with Don's, right? Okay, and Allison, the Winnebago that's parked around town, right? So, awesome. Thank you all for being here and sharing a little bit of your experience and for your awesome artwork.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh. Look forward to 4 more years or 3 more years of their work too. I can't wait.
Pretty
Thank you,
amazing
Mr.
as
Stahl,
freshmen here.
very much.
All right, so I'm almost done. All right. This past December, I was asked to join the Government Relations Committee of the New York State School Music Association to create a resource that could help districts across the state begin to navigate the proposed graduation framework of Portrait of a Graduate. So as I think about what we've just heard our students discuss, this is a portfolio, literally, of their work, their journey, what it is to be part of a program and be on a pathway. So I just see that as a really powerful potential for our students. And while we're waiting for a lot of guidance from Albany, that seems to be a trend, we, I believe, are really well positioned as an arts school district to offer a variety of opportunities for our students within the framework once we learn exactly what it is that we're going to be tailoring it to in the future. But we just have a lot of strengths to build on, and already many ways I think that we can adapt to the attributes that are within the current program. All right, and I'll close this evening with a quote from a groundbreaking individual, Barbara Jordan. Here as we're at the intersection of Black History Month and Women's History Month. She was quoted as saying, "The arts are not a frill. The arts are a response to our individuality and our nature and help to shape our identity. What is there that can transcend deep difference and stubborn divisions? The arts. They have a wonderful universality. Art has the potential to unify. It can speak in many languages without a translator. And the arts do not discriminate. The arts can lift us up." I'm confident this school system is a place that this can be a reality for our students, and I think we saw it this evening. Thanks so much to our students who came, and families who drove, and the teachers who were part of it. I appreciate their time and yours as well to highlight the wonderful things going on in art and music across Webster. Thanks.
Great. Questions or comments? Yes.
I have a comment. Craig, when we were, it was almost as if you were psychic when we were at our board learning walk, because we actually saw the connection between music and reading. And we saw students playing the violin and how they were able to learn. When they first started, they could only read one measure at a time, and how with practice they could read further down the line so they knew what was coming, and that all tied together in their reading as well, and that they were much better readers because they weren't just reading words, they were looking further down the line. So that connection is very, very real, and the students are really seeing it as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
And at Schrader, I mean, I was going to mention it later during board updates, but at Schrader during Black History Month, the BBSU hosted an event, and we saw a lot of singing, musical instruments, poetry, all kinds of arts at that Black History Showcase, which kind of culminates to this. So I was going to mention it later, but it kind of incorporates what you just had, and JJ was one of the performers. She sang, and we've heard her violin, so that also kind of culminated with the arts and celebrating that last month. So that's really cool.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I just love the fact that we have a powerhouse art program, a powerhouse music program, and combining that to make a powerhouse fine arts, but the connection to literacy too that you were working on through there, and how it's just scientifically proven that it's brain development for both of those is awesome for our kids and our community. Great job, great report,
Thanks.
and thank you to our staff and certainly to our students that came tonight.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
And with that, a motion to approve the instruction report as presented. So moved Maria, second Carol, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to board business.
No, but you don't get it first. We haven't done those yet, sorry.
No, I'm just making.
You good?
Mr. Freeman, you're up.
All right, two simple board business things tonight. The first is a resolution just declaring the legal notice of the public meeting, the budget vote, and the timeframes that we will be publishing the information, and it has the details on the propositions as well. So, simple overview. We do it every year.
Any questions? Okay. Motion to approve the legal notice for the annual election and budget vote on Tuesday. This says May 20th, but it's May 19th. Yep, okay, that's fine. May 19th, 2026. So move Linda, second Jeff, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
And then next is just the resolution establishing the actual hours of the vote from 6 to 9 and the place at Webster Schrader High School Gymnasium on May 19th.
Any questions? Pretty standard. Okay. Motion to approve the resolution establishing the hours of the annual district meeting on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. So moved. Mr. Metzger, second. Linda, all in favor? Aye. School calendar.
Yeah, so for the school calendar, this is our second reading. We did not make any adjustments. I think the only conversation that around the state has happened is really in regards to the Juneteenth, as to whether the state was going to change the way that they went about it, but they didn't. We didn't hear anything, and we don't believe that there will be any changes. That wouldn't affect us anyways, because we had already made our decision on that, so based on our collective bargaining agreements, and so no changes.
All right. Motion to approve the 26-27 school calendar. So moved Michele, second Carole, all in favor? Aye. Okay, policy updates. This is a first read. We just had some legal updates to the annual organizational meeting. Basically can be any date in July. And then some updates to absentee, military, and early mail-in ballots. Any questions? Okay. Motion to approve the first read, proposed revision to policies 1620 and 1640, and move on to a second read. So moved. Linda, second. Dave, all in favor? Aye. Next up is next year's Board of Education calendar. Any questions about that? It's pretty standard. If we have to change things, we always post it. Okay. Okay, motion to approve the first reading of the 26-27 Board of Education calendar and move it forward to a second reading. So move Carole, second Jeff. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. All right, board member highlights. Anyone?
Yeah, just that we were doing the school visits where Linda explained what we saw when we went to Clem North, and then, right? And then we went to Plank North, and we have more school visits planned. And I always say it's one of the best things we do is seeing what this work does in the schools. We also went to the Black and Brown Black History Month celebration, which is always impressive. It's the 4th year. Yeah, and PTSA meetings. I went to one on Monday at DeWitt, and I plan to go Thursday to Willink. And I love it when I actually can go to a meeting, which is happening this week. And lots of questions about the calendar. You know, I said, you know, but they finished it on their own, because one was like, I can't do this. What, do you want the kids to go to school in July? And I thought, well, yeah, I'm glad you're, I mean, this is what it's like when you actually go to the meeting. It's really encouraging that they figure it out without any input. Yeah. So, anybody else?
I have a couple things. First, I wanted to publicly thank Brian Freeman for representing Monroe County School Boards Association on his trip to Albany. He got up at the crack of dawn, I don't even know if it was dawn, and took a group of our members down so that we could do some advocacy. And just to let everybody know, the Ledge Committee felt that that was probably one of the best advocacy days that we've had in many, many years. So the plan is to probably have Brian take another 5 people down next year.
Voluntold.
To do it again. Yes, you've been voluntold, I heard. I know, you do a good job at it. So, also just wanted to let everybody know that the Strategic Planning Committee, Core Committee met last week. The surveys are in, over 5,000 were collected from students, parents, community members, and staff. And our crew is compiling them all together, and the core committee will have a first look at them possibly in April. And then at our May workshop, we'll be able to see the results as a board. So looking forward to seeing those. And then district ops, if anybody wants to go next week, Larry Wall, who is a retiree, is going to be presenting on strategic planning. So it should be good. Looking forward to hear what he has to say.
I didn't catch what that was.
District operations is next week. If you want to go, Larry will be presenting on strategic planning for districts. So I think that'll be really good. And I also wanted to, we met the Together Committee, which meets quarterly, met last week, and I think he's still here. No, he's gone. I didn't appreciate how much work goes into removing snow, salting sidewalks, making sure that we're all safe, and how much overtime and waking up at ungodly hours just to get everything clear. So I wanted to just say thank you to all of the employees in buildings and grounds. They worked tirelessly this year. We had a winter like no other, and yet our sidewalks and our parking lots were clear every day. So thank you to them. And also transportation for safely getting our students to and from school. So.
Even sometimes well into the night. A couple of the musicals had snowy nights, some of the performances. I mean, again, it's music and arts night, and there were several nights where they were working tirelessly even through the night to get everybody home from the performances too. So it was a never-ending winter, that's for sure. And it's not over.
No, it's not.
I'm just going to add one thing to the strategic planning core team meeting conversation that we had there too, which is that when we met, we're going to add a new subcommittee. And the new subcommittee is going to be headed by Dr. Millette. And so thank you, Dr. Millette. And it actually ties with our instructional report tonight when you heard Mr. Roller talk about the portrait of a graduate. There is a lot left to find out and more information to come on this, but we're being told by State Ed that we should have a little bit more of a clear picture in June when they present to the Board of Regents. And so that is when we're hoping to use that as our kickstart in June, and then potentially some work over the summer that, I appreciate Dr. Millette is going to help us lead that subcommittee. So it'll be timely, and it'll be a really important subcommittee. So, thanks.
Okay. Well done. All right, next up is the consent agenda. Any questions on tonight's consent agenda? Seeing none. With that, can I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda? So moved, Maria. Second, Linda. All in favor? Aye. All right. All right, our last piece tonight is our visitor speaking time. So just my usual reminders before Heather calls up our speakers one at a time. We do have 3 to 4 minute policies. So I always explain the light system. Green is go. Yellow means you have 1 minute left, and red, it'll start flashing, and that means your time is up. And then just a few reminders that this is a time for the board to listen. It's not a public forum. We don't engage in dialogue. If you ask a question, it goes unanswered. And we just ask that everyone follow the code of conduct. Typically, we have students. We don't have any students present this evening, although they may be watching online. And with that, I think we can call up our first speaker.
Kimberly DeRosa.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Hello. So I'm here tonight because we want kids to grow up to be successful in life as adults. That's the whole point of being here, right? Having schools. We all agree that quality education is vital to that goal, and Webster promises to nurture and inspire personal excellence. So when students skip class to protest a politically hot topic, parading through the halls of school with ill-informed signs, how exactly are you providing quality education? How does that foster personal excellence? When I was in high school, I liked to skip class too. I don't recall my teachers ever encouraging it though. And what happened to the cell phone ban? It's obviously not working conveniently enough to capture something like a nice out protest, but suddenly does work when there's a group fighting on campus, leading to a hold in place. And that leads into neighborhoods after schools. It's no coincidence what is shared publicly and what is not. And taxpayers, we do not want to pay to facilitate so-called protests on hot button issues just so teenagers can get 5 seconds of fame on the local news. How exactly do you maintain continuity of the learning environment for all students when students are screaming, marching through hallways, and recording it all on their cell phones? Here's what's been happening across the country with these so-called protests. In Kansas, a student was beaten and chased by peers. A Florida student was struck by a vehicle. In Illinois, a 15-year-old was injured and hospitalized after being tackled during a protest. In Nebraska, a student was hit by a car. And an 11-year-old in Illinois, a special needs student was left alone near a highway. And you thought it was a good idea to have one here in Webster at Schrader. To take it one step further, if you actually valued safety, you might teach facts about exactly who immigration and customs enforcement agents are and who they are detaining and deporting. People like Mendoza, convicted of felony sexual acts and sexually abuse. Moronis, distributing child sexual abuse material. Velasquez Gomez, convicted of multiple sex offenses, including first-degree sexual abuse of a minor. Mendez Jimenez, charged with sexual abuse of a child under 11. and Mendez for sexual battery of a child. And that's just a snapshot of who ICE is removing from our streets. All of whom were in our country illegally and removed in New York State. That is what actually helps protect children. And you are teaching students to disrespect and villainize the law enforcement officers whose job does more to keep them safe than anything that you do. The district statement about school-sponsored protests included mental health resources in a supportive environment. So you think if a student does not support a nice out protest, we are supposed to believe that they will have a supportive environment at school? Because they won't believe that. What about teachers or staff who have a different view on this issue? They are not getting a supportive environment either. That's why I think you should get politics out of school. There should be no side promoted. A K-12 learning environment should be about mastering basics, and in high school especially, preparing them for college or a career. Your job is not to pick a political side. It is to focus on academics. And we are watching you. I'm sure you don't like it when community stakeholders like myself.
Thank you.
Timothy Smith.
Good evening, everyone. On April 22nd, 2025, we formally petitioned the board, put the issue of a partial school tax exemption for the 2,700 veteran property owners in the Webster School District on your agenda, along with a public hearing. 11 months later, we're still waiting for a financial report and no public hearing scheduled. In fact, the law allowing this exemption was passed in 2013, so we've actually been waiting 13 years. And now we're being told you're going to wait till the district assessment is done. This is a pretty hard pill to swallow. This could possibly be another 2 or 3 years, and if you're 60% of your veterans are senior citizens on fixed income, clock is ticking. Way back in April, I just did my own estimate, and I figured the max would be 50 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. And with the state cap on that at $240,000, this really equates to only $120 a year or $10 a month, which is basically peanuts in today's economy. And pretty insignificant with regard to your current $127.5 million property tax budget. So I have a proposal to make, that you do a financial impact based on today's current assessments. Let's take a look at that, right? Evaluate it. We probably can even extrapolate that, what might happen after the assessment, right? But let's take a snapshot in time, and see if, is a yes or no even based on that, right? So, and that would give your veterans a little understanding of what's going on. So please help your veterans. These men and women left their homes and families and risked their lives in the service of our country and the Webster community. And some of these veterans have returned to now provide essential service to the school district. We refer to them today as administrators, teachers, school bus drivers, your maintenance crew. So they're in the school district performing essential services. We request that you immediately release this financial report and schedule a public hearing on the issues so the rest of the property owners can understand the issue and see what's going on. And then you can say thank you for your service in a tangible way by passing a veteran school tax break, which may also encourage more veterans to become property owners in the Webster School District. So please, no more delays. Let's see if we can help this out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason Richards. Good evening. Jason Richards, veteran, retired Sergeant Major, happy to be here. I did note there was one omission from the sports statistics, and that's Max Richards dominating the overtime period, helped Schrader beat Thomas. Not a basketball.
Brian, how did we miss that?
I know.
Come on.
That's good.
So I too want to support the Veterans Tax Initiative. I understand it's tabled for now, and when it comes time to revisit it, would love to collaborate on how we can do some good for veterans in Webster locally. Last time I spoke a lot about the why this is important, so I'm not going to rehash this, but I think the how is also important. How we get there matters, and as fellow leaders in our community and setting that example for this educational environment. One of my favorite veterans I like to talk about is Al Garling, and I still remember the day I met him, and he was in the VFW with me. So the day he convinced me to join, he was telling about his World War II service. And in Merchant Marine, early in the war, his boat got blown up. He survived, one of 5 to survive out of like 60 plus, but his legs were shattered. And so he's telling me the story. He's like 92 at the time I meet him. But he tells me the story on how he's tired of watching all of his buddies go off and fight this war while he's at home recuperating. So he joins the Army. And he's talking to me about how he had to wrap his legs to get through Army Airborne School. And I'm a proverbial 5-jump chump, but I can tell you at the prime of my life how painful this was. And so, just meeting him standing there as a guy who was a sergeant major at the time, and just incredulous that I've done nothing compared to this guy. So it's just one of those moments that always sticks with me. And I always like to tell people about Al Garling. So he's not with us anymore. At the time, he wasn't getting any veterans benefits. I'm proud to say that I was able to change that because I work at a big governmental agency that rhymes with VA. So happy to change that. But there's a lot of other Als that are around here, and I think there's a lot of meat on the bone to do some good with this initiative. So when it comes time to revisit it, please let me know, and I'd be happy to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
Craig Tower.
Good evening. My name's Craig Tower. I'm a veteran of the submarine Navy. I spent 12.5 years on submarines and gone 7 months of the year. There were others that did more than I did. My point here is we're giving something back. It's a community effort. We want to work this out, and we want to make sure that everyone is treated fairly. It's not a veteran against non-veteran topic. "11 months ago, I was the one that first presented the information pursuant to the expansion of 2013 New York State Real Estate Tax Law, Section 458-1. -A. I am petitioning the Webster Central School District Board of Education to put on their agenda, along with a public hearing, the issue to provide an exemption on school taxes to all qualified veterans residing in the Webster Central School District. These exemptions will follow identical and published New York State and Monroe County guidelines for county and town veteran breaks. Now, I'm also the commander of the local VFW in Webster, and I'm a member of the American Legion. And part of the duties in the American Legion is honor guard. And I want to put forth to you that in the last year, 11 months, we've lost 10 or 12 veterans. And I honored them. I was there. I support them. They are no longer here. They will not support any of us. I was there to support them. And I'm asking you to think about their sacrifice. They're no longer a member of community. They won't support us. But they can help make our community stronger, make a difference. So far, luckily, this present conflict, and I didn't want to get political, but we have lost 7 service members in the month of March. There will be many more that come back wounded. Think about their sacrifice. We're not doing it here. They're doing it for us over there. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
That's it. Okay. All right, just last set of reminders. Budget Workshop 2 is Tuesday, March 24th, followed by Budget Workshop 3, April 7th, followed by the next business meeting, April 14th. With that, Carole, a motion to adjourn the meeting, so moved. Second, Maria, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.